Hello and welcome back to another 5K tennis discussion. It is Thursday, May the 16th, 2019, and we are here for show number 74. Big number. Let's go, Carla. Way to go. Please like and subscribe to our channel. It is always appreciated. And if you are on a mobile device or a laptop or a tablet per se, I'll put a link above of suggested videos where you can see all of our 200 plus shows up to date from where we started and to where we are now. So we have a ton to talk about, a lot of matches ongoing, making up for rain delays in the Rome tournament, a lot of other topics to discuss, some really good viewer comments and some not so good ones, and we'll touch on those as well. So we'd have a ton to talk about, so I want to jump right into the show. You ready, Carla?
I'm ready.
Everyone ready?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go! Come on! Let's get this done. All right, by the way, hopefully everyone is having a positive day with very positive and good thoughts. Easier said than done, but days are better with positive energy, so hopefully everyone is having a positive day. I think that's our mission statement, our goal here is to make a channel that's positive for everyone and remove and delete anything negative that may come across in comments. So sorry, some of the negative stuff, if we don't catch it right off, we end up doing it and we delete it entirely.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with disagreeing with us. I mean, that's part of anything in life. People agree and disagree, but there's a way to do it.
Yeah, just a quick example. It seems like every time that Carla or myself speak of Venus or Serena, it always turns into somehow some racial thing. I must remind everyone that tennis is a global game, and it does not matter size, shape, dimensions, etc. My wife, Carla, is Spanish. Obviously, you can see that from Honduras, at least ancestry. Parents from New York, myself, California. There's never anything racial, I can promise you, that comes from a discussion that we have here. It's a matter of fact or
our opinion.
Or opinion that comes from a lifetime of tennis on both wings. Between the two of us, I started the game at 2, born into a tennis family. My father played since he was a boy, and he's 81. Her father, close to the same. Siblings play, we coach it. So we try to be as objective as possible, but we like to be hard-hitting and then honest with our takes, period. Anything that comes across in comments as being any type of hateful thing will just be removed, deleted, and ignored.
Correct.
All right, moving forward. A special shout-out to start this show to the coaches of Hastings College in Nebraska, the men's and women's team that Carla and I had an opportunity to meet yesterday. Really good guys, super positive. We had an opportunity to play some fun doubles against them.
I've never met two guys more positive. I mean, these guys were positive.
Really positive.
I mean, every point, they were like, I guess that's why they're college, tennis coaches, because they were positive. They cheer each other and cheered us.
Truly wonderful time. So big shout out to Hastings College. And the coaches Mark Geswell and Kamran Yazjurdi. So big shout out to you guys. We really enjoyed meeting you. Super positive, great doubles. One of them, by the way, was hitting with YTEX Square X White. We discussed that we are big fans of YTEX as well. And please comment below with an address or to the school or wherever where Carla and I and Ivor Savage / President and CEO of YTEX Strings can send you some samples for your team. So again, much love, hugs back. We were playing, and at every point it was like hugs and high fives.
I'm not used to that.
So that was interesting. That was a really good time.
Yeah.
So much love to you guys in Nebraska. All right, so jumping into topic number 1. This comes from a discussion that Carla and I had yesterday with a new viewer. So first we want to welcome me, and I think that his username is AMI. I think you had his entire name.
Yes.
So welcome Ami. I think he is in New Zealand, and we subscribe to his YouTube channel as well. So Ami, welcome. So where this topic comes from, and as well as some other colorful comments that we always get when we talk about Venus and Serena, we were talking about on the last show, and I will put a link above, and you can click on it if you missed the discussion. The discussion was about, Carla and I were disagreeing about Serena's retirement from Rome. I thought it was just kind of a snub towards the tournament, and then I thought it was a snub that the tournament put Venus and Serena so close together. And she disagreed in the sense that Venus isn't really that good anymore per se, and she got just the bad luck of the draw and wound up near her sister.
No, I don't think that she just ended up. I think they did it on purpose. I did say it was a snub. I said
in both directions,
yes,
the retirement and the draw makeup.
I agree it was a snub, but I was saying that it was disrespectful for Serena to withdraw because she can give a chance to another player, which some of the viewers disagree with me on that.
All right, real quick, I want to put into perspective for any colorful comments that may be thought about being written at this point right now. If you're new to this channel, you will have no idea what I'm talking about, but about 6 or 7 months ago, I did a show solo on the porch, on my back porch, to give you my list of top 10 athletes of all time, male or female, and Serena Williams was number 1 on my list. So please don't give us any hate about we're just, blaspheming this person because
we're definitely not. And I even defended her at the U.S. Open. I thought, what a shame that this match, the finals, went like that against Osaka, and a lot of people gave her heat about that. And I was on Serena's side that I did not see the coaching, but...
Yeah, and furthermore, just in case you missed my top 10 athletes of all time, I'm not going to get through the whole thing, but Serena was number 1 because of her accomplishments. 2 was Michael Jordan. 3 was Muhammad Ali, and 4 was Roger Federer. So please don't let us hear any, you're just biased, because I think some of our messages, you're Caucasian, but she's Spanish. I mean, come on.
I just think a lot of people, and I hate to say this, they don't know tennis well. They don't. They're just fans because it's Serena, Venus, and let's be real, these are the 2 biggest names in tennis. In the United States, if you say Serena, Venus, and you never play tennis, they still know who they are.
So check out the last show if you want to hear the whole debate, but because we don't have time on our short clock, 45, 46 minutes, to go over the whole topic again, the topic was basically Serena withdrew as a snub, but yet the tournament may have snubbed her for the draw, and Carla got into her thoughts about Venus Williams, which weren't the best at this point.
Not Venus, Serena. I just said that Venus was not in the top, she's not a top tennis player.
Yeah, well, you referred to Venus as Serena's sister, and I think Ami was saying she's much more than Serena's sister. She's Venus Williams.
Yes,
and I agree with Ami on all fronts. So why don't we do this for time? Let's read the message that came across that got the very professional debate. This is how we debate in a positive way. Let's read the message that got us started, and let's cut it off at 10 minutes so we can move forward. So this message was from Ami directly to Carla after the last show.
I respect your podcast. As I listen to it sometimes, I believe you are a Serena fan, or at least respect Serena, but I find the way you talk about some players or some things kind of harsh. We as Serena fans know she lies a lot. I don't feel pressure. But when you don't have proof, make sure to say it in a way like we know what happened. Maybe the injury was or is way more serious than we all think. Maybe she just wanted a match to see if she was match fit, to see where she can improve and go train. She has the right to do so after all these years. Why should another player get a chance to play the main draw? She's the main attraction for the Italian Open, and we all know that.
Okay, first of all, that's a great comment. Well written, nothing antagonistic, but open-minded. There was a response somewhere where Ami indicated further that on my pitch of that, I was rightly saying...
She also said, he said, don't forget that Venus made the finals of the Roland Garros and can win of any player, even on clay. She's still ranked inside the top 50. And when you mention Venus as a Serena sister, and she is not a clay player, I even think she's outside of the top 100 when we just made the quarterfinals of Indian Wells and Miami. I find that odd. But again, I respect your podcast. I'm just giving you my personal opinion.
And furthermore says that I was rightly giving the pitch. But I'm not.
I was shaking my head.
Yeah,
maybe I was. Maybe I'm not. Do you want to say yours before I continue?
We're going to end this in about 45 seconds. First of all, I agree with Ami completely. Venus is not just Serena's sister. She is a major winner. 5 Wimbledons, I think 3 other. I think she has 8, maybe 7. It could be 6. Correct me if I'm wrong. She's got 5 Wimbledons. She's an ultimate and elite champion, number 1. Carla is a hardcore tennis player. When she's on the court, she is very feisty. She's a feisty tennis player, and she's feisty as a person, and that's what I really like about Carla. She's going to tell you what she feels, and she's not going to care what you say in return. And it may be get what you get, or take what you take. Mm-hmm. But it's not disrespectful, number one. That's just Carla. Rajesh, B-Doggo2, a lot of these guys that communicate with Carla on a daily basis, they get it. It's not that she's harsh. And I mean this in a weird way. She is a tank. She's a tenured warrior, has been through a lot from countries and odd things in her life like the best of us. But Carla is a hard-hitting person in your face, but I can promise you she was not being disrespectful. That's just the way she feels. She feels Venus Williams is older now and can't compete at the highest level. I think that she can.
Well, she is a great champion. I mean, to win that many slams, 5 Wimbledons, I mean... Not many of us can do that. I'm just saying she's about to turn 39. There's a lot of young up and coming players. She has a sickness. I don't think that she can win another slam or stay in the top. I think she will keep dropping. That's just my opinion. I just don't see it. Sometimes she comes out to the court with energy, and sometimes there's no energy there. I mean, you don't know what you're going to get with Venus.
Yeah, and just understand this. It doesn't matter. Carla and I have played wide open sets when maybe this isn't the best thing, when she's been super pregnant, and she still doesn't want to give you an inch. She definitely won't give you a millimeter. And her goal when she walks on course is to bagel you, and that's just Carla. She feels that Venus is done, and that was her way of expressing that. I would agree with Ami in that she is not. And let's just end it at this. If Venus and Serena matched up on opposing sides of the draw at the French Open, one would be foolish to not think that a final could occur between the two of them. Not saying it will. I personally think Serena Williams will win the French Open.
I hope she does.
And with relative ease. And we both hope so.
I hope she does. I'd like to see her pass Margaret Court. I really would.
And moving forward, ending the topic, again, if you missed a video, it's somewhere in history. And a list of a whole bunch of videos before we got more organized. But Serena is my top athlete of all time, male or female, followed by Jordan, Muhammad Ali, and Roger Federer. So we are definite fans, but we're just going to tell you the truth of how we feel. And in this sense, Ami agreed with me on Venus and disagreed with you. Right. Great topic, great comment. Welcome, Ami from New Zealand. Much love. It was great to talk about. All right, moving forward. We're going to spend a moment, 5 minutes max, so watch the clock, because this is all I want to spend on this topic. And that is Nick Kyrgios. So first of all, my morning consisted of going to take our car somewhere for some work that was rather pricey, but nonetheless, for like the 5th time in 2 weeks, we had to do so once again. But Nick Kyrgios was on the forefront of the news this morning for talking about the likes of Rafael Nadal, Novak Djokovic, Roger Federer, and oddly enough, Fernando Verdasco jumped into the mix. So it basically went like this, you know, the reporters are asking him, you know, why don't you show these guys respect, and, you know, such as Federer and Djokovic when they play, or Nadal, whatever. And he's like, why should I respect him? I've beaten Djokovic twice, and I'm supposed to respect him as being the best. He's never even beaten me. I'm supposed to go out there and brown nose Rafael Nadal, and we're 3-3, 3 wins, 3 losses head to head. I'm supposed to say he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. Why should I respect him? He never talks negatively in a sense about Federer. I mean, obviously, because Federer has beaten him 3 times to his 1.
Well, he also said that even if Djokovic were to pass him in Grand Slams, you can't consider Djokovic being the best.
Yeah,
Federer has done so much for tennis, and he would still be considered the best.
And again, I'm a Djokovic fan too, so because we are mentioning what Nick Kyrgios said, don't think that I'm not a Djokovic fan. Carla's a fan too, and growing more so, but she used to not be at all.
I love the Spanish. He speaks Spanish.
Yeah, he starts speaking.
Great.
Djokovic speaking.
Great. I give him more bonus points.
Yeah, incredible. He was speaking fluent Spanish to the crowd in Madrid, and she really liked that a lot. Mm-hmm. But I understand. I get some of the things that Kyrgios says.
I understand what he's saying, but I think as a professional tennis player, maybe as fans we can say that, but someone who is with these other players in the locker room, you need to really watch what you're saying if you even want a future in tennis after you're done playing tennis. He is not the person to say this. He shouldn't say anything. Look how he acted today against Ruud. I mean, he's disrespectful. He has no manners. He talks bad about everybody. I mean, he just doesn't have the right to say anything. I'm sure that Djokovic and Nadal just laughed it off, because these guys have millions and millions in the bank. Sponsors, they're number 1, 2, 3 in the world. They have many Grand Slams. They shouldn't even worry about this.
Yeah, they're gonna brush that off. They're gonna brush the shoulders off. And look, and it's not like in this interview he was being disrespectful. He was just kind of pulling a Carla, but not. He wasn't being professional about it. Carla would be, but if Carla doesn't like someone, she's not going to hesitate to say she doesn't like someone, and not in a negative way.
But I think if I was,
she would just be like, "Let's agree to disagree." In other words,
but
I'm not going to agree with you.
If I was
Let's
a
just
professional
disagree.
tennis player and someone's interviewing me, I don't care what I think of that person. I would never say it. I just wouldn't say it.
I get some of it. I think though, on the world stage, it's not in anybody's best interest to blaspheme or to be egotistical, especially when you can't back it up. Like, look at Muhammad Ali. He talked so much smack, but yet he backed it up. He was knocking people out, moving like no one has ever moved before, footwork and flash and pizzazz. So Muhammad Ali is one of my favorite athletes of all times, even given the trash talk. However, he backed it up, and Nick Kyrgios just hasn't done that. But I do get what he's saying, but on the wrong stage to pull the trigger on that. Number two. The fans, of course, booed Kyrgios today when he retired. It was basically
disqualified himself.
He disqualified himself. He withdrew from the match. But we can't forget who Nick Kyrgios was playing, Ruud. A big shout out to him because Ruud is a fine player, number one. He trains in Nadal's camp in Mallorca in Spain.
He's only 20 years old.
He's 20 years old. He comes from a tennis family. He's a good player. And we talked about Ruud, and I had Ruud beating him on my draw anyway. I think you did as well.
Yes.
So the only thing that we're missing here is a congratulations to Ruud and a great job for Nadal's camp. And I think his uncle Tony, Uncle Tony.
I'm not sure about that, but yeah,
I think they're involved in coaching though, is what I'm saying.
Yes.
So they're very close here.
So Nick Kyrgios got beat, bro.
Yeah. But here's the
time.
thing: the fans get so upset when this type of buffoon conduct happens on the court with Kyrgios, but yet the stadium is sold out. We had a show a couple of days ago where I made light of crowds coming and they're cheering in their head like, "Yay, we're at a Kyrgios match. Let's see what this buffoon is going to do." And then when he does it, they boo. But yet to their friends, they're like, "Yes, we get to see it." It's like they're happy to be booing. They have an opportunity to boo. You know when you're buying tickets at this point after all these years that if you go to a Kyrgios match, you are going to see some type of buffoon, outlandish performance, and you are going to have the opportunity to boo. So if it were for me, I don't see the logic in booing at all because you signed up for it by buying the tickets, okay? People boycotted Federer's match because the tickets got doubled, but Kyrgios' match was sold out and everybody booed. I don't think there was anybody complaining. I know when he walked himself off the court, it was like, forget this, and threw the chair into the court and basically lost the game. So it was 1-1 in the third set. Third set, big time part of the match. He gets upset with the crowd, throws a chair, loses a game. He's down 2-1. Then he just quits and walks off the court. Everybody's booing, but the odd thing is, if you watch that, when he's walking off the court, there's a million people asking for his autograph with the ball.
Yeah.
Hey, we love you, we love you. So you can't tell me if you buy a ticket to that match that you're actually booing for real. I think you're just trying to get in on the energy. It's like going to a concert, and the people get into it, and there's waves of people, and they're becoming one as an audience. That's what it was.
Because people thrive with negativity, and he is negativity. I don't understand why Nike nor YTEX still sponsors him. There are so many players out there that are hungry in the world. Let's give them the opportunity.
Yeah, it's a circus act.
Seriously, let's give them the opportunity.
It's a circus act, and if the seats are sold out for Kyrgios versus Ruud, and I would be a Ruud fan, I wouldn't be there to see Kyrgios per se. If it's sold out, you can't tell me you're booing for real.
I would just boycott the whole match, even though it would be disrespecting the other player. Just boycott. They have to let him know. Fans have to let him know. Listen, we're not going to take this anymore. But I guess people love negativity. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Basically, what he's doing on court is exactly what you see people doing behind their keyboards because they don't have the courage to do it in person. And he's doing it in person, and people are lapping it up. So don't boo, cheer, because that's what you signed up for, and that's what you got. So if you're trying just to make a boo fest, then great. But we know you're not really booing. You're actually lapping it up. All right, so Carla has a quick topic, and this is about the multitude of retirements, especially on the women's side. I think there's only one on the men's, actually, and that was Kyrgios.
Yeah.
So scratch on the men's side, but the multitude of retirements that we have watched on the women's side here about, what, 10 or 11 days away from French Open beginning?
Yeah.
So how many people have retired on the women's side of this tournament?
Well, we had on the
Carla?
first round, Yelena Stepanko retired at Bucernescu. Down 5-4 in the second set, she retires. Why?
2 points away from losing
Why?
the match, she retires.
Why?
Whatever, why? Okay.
Wozniacki loses the first set, 7-6 to Collins, and then retires. Why play?
Done.
Serena, we know she retired. That was a walkover. Muguruza, 4-6, loses the first set, down 1-3, and retires against Azarenka.
Done.
She just won her first match, so her back was hurting in the second one? I don't know.
And we get things happen, but you can't call us racial.
So
you can't call us
So you're telling
racially
me
biased
all these
because
people were sick. They all got sick. All of them.
yeah. So we talk about Serena and Venus getting withdrawn, and Carla gets called out as being racially biased. So here we're talking about Muguruza, and she's Spanish, so she can't be biased. So don't hit us with that because it's just wrong. It's unnecessary, and we'll delete it and we'll remove it. All right, move forward. So after
Renee
Muguruza,
retires 3-6, lost the first set, down 0-3, retires against Carlos Suarez Navarro. You're down 3-0, you're retired. Questionable.
and here's we
Oh, wait, I have more.
Oh man.
Kyrgios retires against Bucernescu. Was down 4-6, won the second set 6-3 and 4-0. Why not fight to the end?
And look, and we're not saying no one's injured or not, but let's take the Ostapenko retirement. She lost the first set. She's down in the final game if 2 more points go by. In other words, she was 2 points away from losing and then retired. I get she could have been hurting. There might have been a hammerhead shark on her big toe chewing that thing off. But she could have easily just got a ball, hit it to the net, double faulted quick if she was serving, I don't recall, or taken the return and not even tried, and just ended the match. But the retirement, 2 points from the match being over anyway, a little peculiar to me. Again, if there's a hammerhead shark eating your face, finish the 2 points.
Well, maybe Federer should retire because he lost the first set 6-2. He should say his back hurts. I don't know.
We got into this before this tournament started on my list, just so no one's calling my bluff. Here's Coric and Federer meeting right here. I have Coric winning that match and then playing Tsitsipas. Something about this tournament for Roger joining at the last minute, knowing that Coric is very familiar with slow surfaces. Coric is quite steady on slow surfaces. He's going to be dangerous for anybody. I didn't think Federer would win this match, and by the looks of it, he won't unless he comes back relatively quickly. Is that all your women's retirements?
That's it. Yeah,
oh,
and
that's
also Sharapova will not be playing the French Open due to shoulder injury, and also Nicole Gibbs, the American, will not play due to cancer. She's going for surgery.
Too bad. Who is that?
Nicole Gibbs. She's a Stanford player, 26-year-old.
Well, we wish the best for Nicole Gibbs. That's a serious note there, not a knee tweak. You speak of a player with cancer, we have our thoughts and best wishes with you there. That's a serious one and not just kind of lightly, haphazardly. Good luck with that. We wish you the best. We had the day before yesterday on the show a list of players of who was hot at one point and who was just not at this point. We were reminded today of one player that we left off the list, so I'm going to add her. And this is a nickname player. This is Sloane, the chocolate milk drinker, Stevens. And I say that because, just so there's no colorful comments about that, she's sponsored by chocolate milk.
Yeah.
Someone might say, oh, is this another Venus tirade? Jeez, I read that stuff and I'm like, man, what kind of world do we live in these days? We're tennis players. I mean, I don't care if you're from Greenland, Antarctica, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Somalia, Canada, it doesn't matter, we're tennis players.
No offense to anyone, but the best players are the foreigners, and that's a fact.
Yeah, I mean, so ultimately, the reason why we call, if you're new to this channel, Sloane, the chocolate milk drinker Stevens, is because every other commercial when we're watching tennis, and we hate commercials, by the way, we kind of turn the volume off, but there's always Sloane Stevens chugging some chocolate milk, and we made jokes about how maybe she wants to select a different beverage as she's changing sides. Ha, 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 because you would not want to drink chocolate milk in the hot sun in a grueling tennis match.
No.
But we need to add her to the list because she lost again today, and we'll get into that.
Yes.
All right, let's get right into the Rome draws, men's and women's. These draws are kind of clustered together. There was a couple of days of rain. Players are playing 2 matches. A lot of them ongoing or still haven't been gotten to yet. But nonetheless, we have to move forward.
Naomi Osaka defeats Silvakova 6-3, 6-3, and is currently playing Bucernescu right now, and they are, Osaka's up 5-2. Bucernescu beat Kyrgios, who retired.
Osaka will finish this match off, and she is going.
She looks like she's going to finish it.
Yeah, she's going to finish it. We have a good matchup upcoming between, I think it's Suarez-Navarro and Bertens upcoming.
That match is actually done. Suarez-Navarro defeated Cornet, who retired from the match, and Bertens defeated Anisimova in 3 sets. Bertens took out Carlos Suarez-Navarro in 3 sets. Bertens is probably waiting for Osaka.
Big time matchup coming. One of the big ones just to begin. I really enjoyed the Sophia Kenin and Madison Keys at least match in a sense. I mean, it wasn't super great, but that was a big one early. This is a big one in the middle of the tournament. Between Osaka and Bertens, who are you taking?
I'll take Bertens. Bertens is hot right now, and I think Osaka might, you did say something that some of the top seeds might lose early just to conserve some energy for the French Open, and I am starting to see that.
So I'm doing personally really good on my women's draw of this tournament. I still have all my finalists in, or my projected finalists in, Kvitova, Osaka, so I'm going to take Osaka to beat Bertens in this match.
All right, Simona Halep defeated...
Vondrousova?
No, I'm sorry. She was the only one waiting. So Vondrousova defeated Halep. And then Kasatkina defeated Syanakova.
Great job for Kasatkina here. Again, if you're new to the show, I think Carla plays a lot like Kasatkina. And I'm a big fan for that reason and other reasons. She has a nice, decent game. She was placed on the list of who was once hot and now who is once not.
Good for her.
And good for her. The quicker we can get you off this not list, the better. So I hope that...
Vondrousova, Kasatkina, good opportunity for Kasatkina.
I hope Kasatkina beats the young Vondrousova. I do, just for her career.
Are you surprised Halep lost in 3 sets? I think you said she would lose earlier.
I called she would lose earlier before the tournament started, so I'm surprised that she's actually made it this far, at least fighting 3-setters. I think she was in another 3-setter at one point. I may be wrong.
No, that was the only match she played.
That was today then.
That was, yes.
Okay.
She only played 1 round.
Not a shock. I think that she is one of the heavy favorites, the French, but I do think Roland Garros will be Serena's time to hoist number 24.
Okay, Sloane Stephens goes down to, this was her first round, second round, but they get a bye. Was defeated by Konta, and Konta played Venus later on, who she defeated 6-2, 6-4.
This kind of strengthens.
This was my point again.
This kind of strengthens Carla's argument about Venus, doesn't it? But wait a minute.
If it was grass, I'd give it to her. If it was grass, this is where I think Venus has the most chance to win or get far into the second week, would be the Wimbledon.
Now look, let's be real. Johanna Konta, the British player, she's no joke. But she is one of those players we could put on a list. So maybe, wait a minute, you're right. We should add Johanna Konta to the list of who was once hot and
She's had injuries as well.
Because Konta was a lights-out player and still is a good player. She proved that today, in my opinion. I know that you're gonna say, well, Venus, this proves my point.
Well, Konta is not a clay courter either.
But
she's a grass court player. So
who's to say though Konta is not finding her form once again though?
She's off 1 week, on 1 week.
Okay, so we agree. So we're going to agree to disagree again. I think Konta's a fine player, went through some ups and downs, some injuries. I think she might be finding her way. I still think Venus would be naive to leave out of your fantasy team or your thoughts for the French Open.
Muguruza took out Danielle Collins in 3 sets and then retired to Azarenka. So Azarenka moves through. Kenin defeated Keys in 3 sets. I talked about Keys being a player that is just lost.
Breaking news. I just got a phone call. Hello? This is the tournament director? From where? Rome. Okay, what's the news, bro? Muguruza? Oh, she wasn't injured when she retired. Well, what was it? So I can let the people here know. Oh, really? Oh, Muguruza withdrew because her eardrums were busted from Azarenka's squeal? And she didn't want to tell anybody because she didn't want to have anybody not liking her in the locker room? All right, cool. All right, well, hopefully her ears are okay, and I don't blame her for the squeal because I have to turn off the TV when she plays. So we'll etch it in stone. Muguruza withdrew with the busted eardrum. All right, cool. Got it. Bye. All right, just...
You know that Azarenka did retire in a final in Mexico against Muguruza, so they're even on that one.
Holy squealing Batman!
Pliskova will be playing Kenin today later on.
Should be a good match. I'm gonna go with Pliskova here.
Yeah, that's a toss up to me.
So next,
That's a toss-up to me.
Next player, Mladenovic, who is
She's
now
hot.
being coached by Sasha Bajin, Serena's
hot
ex-hitting
right
partner, and Naomi Osaka's coach while she won 2 majors, I think both.
Yes, both.
Has now got Mladenovic on a roll here. Let's not forget that Mladenovic is TM's girlfriend, and by the way, TM lost to Verdasco today. We'll get into that. But Mladenovic found a way to beat Bencic, who's fighting.
3 sets?
I think you had Bencic going to your final.
Yes, I did.
And then took out the strong Ashley Barty. So
Wow.
great job for her and rolled right through it. Let's go to the bottom for time.
Sakari defeated Kontaveit and will play Kvitova, who destroyed Potty-Mouth Putintseva.
Potty-mouth Putintseva went
6-0,
down.
6-1.
And then the bicep, back foot, forehand of Sakari will now face Kvitova. That's going to end the women's stuff. But in my finalists in this tournament are Osaka playing Kvitova with Kvitova winning. So we'll see how that goes, and we'll move forward into the men's draw. But right now, I'm looking like I'm going to finally beat you on clay and
I'm
draws
doing
this
terrible
year.
in women's. Novak Djokovic takes out Denis Shapovalov 6-1, 6-3. And Kohlschreiber takes out Cecchinato 6-3, 6-3. What's going on, Arvist? You said Cecchinato would do well on clay since this is the surface. Not the case. So Kohlschreiber and Djokovic are facing off later on.
If you don't recall, the last time Kohlschreiber, who I like a lot, nice game, liked in the locker room, on and off the court, nice one-handed backhand, veteran of the tour. Last time Novak Nole, i.e. the Joker, met Philip Kohlschreiber. Kohlschreiber took him out, and I think that was at Miami, maybe Indian Wells was hard court. So Djokovic will have his chance to reset that loss, and I think Djokovic will do it with ease. I say 2-3, Djokovic.
I agree with you on that one. Ruud, as we spoke about earlier, took out Kyrgios. Kyrgios had taken out Medvedev, and he had to play Ruud. He retired due to disqualification, walked off the court, and Del Potro took out Goffin. 6-4, 6-2. Good match. They play later on today. Del Potro against Ruud.
Totally shocked, honestly, that a very vulnerable Del Potro right now, coming off injuries, tackling the clay, obviously not his best surface. I'm surprised that he beat Goffin so easily. Now I'm beginning to wonder a little bit of what's going on with Goffin. I had picked Goffin to win this match.
What about Wawrinka, who lost to him? Who got a 6-0?
Yeah, I mean, Goffin, in my opinion, even though he gave Wawrinka a bagel, something must have happened there for Wawrinka to win a first set and then to get dealt a bagel and then lost the third. I think it was 6-2. But something must have happened in that match. But for me to see Goffin, again, I know he's been injury prone and a lot of freakish ones, but he as well could be on the list of who was once hot and now who is not.
I disagree.
Just because of injury. Goffin, not Del Potro.
Oh, I mean, he's had injuries even when he was hot, so...
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. So some of our lists of who's hot and who's not, I said it when we created the list, that some of them are injury related and they're trying to come back for it and they can never find their form. Look at Sharapova. She could be one of the ones who's hot and who's not.
Yeah, things haven't gone so well since she's come back. Schwartzman took out Berenti, who took out Zverev. He moves on. 2 sets. He beat him in 2 sets. Earlier, he had beat Ramos Vignolas. Struff took out Chilik pretty easily, 6-2, 6-3.
We both, yesterday, or the show before, this past show, 2 days ago, the day before last, Carla and I both said, well, you know, we may take Chilik just because of experience, but don't be shocked if Struff actually took him out. Struff will face off Nishikori next, and Nishikori
beat Taylor Fritz.
Again, I kind of have a liking for Taylor Fritz. I don't think he's that great.
Not on clay. He will do better on hard court.
And I don't think he'll win anything. Not even a 500 level tournament. I mean, any tournament at this level is a big deal. Even if it's a challenger.
I think he'll win a 250.
But
I really think he can.
I like the kid. He's the one that's the young father, I think.
Yes.
And he carries himself well.
He's 21.
And he seems to be a good kid. So I'm sorry that he had to face off Nishikori earlier. In the tournament, I think that Struff, though, will beat Nishikori. I think Struff will take Nishikori out.
Stefanos Tsitsipas took out the 17-year-old 6-3, 6-2, and will face the beautiful Beer Fognini, who took out Alba, and boy, was the crowd booing Alba for no reason, just because he faced Fognini.
Well, we have to remember where we are.
But they booed him for no reason.
Well, okay, here's the context of this. I love a lot of these tournaments that are on clay for the main reason of the crowd. The crowds tend to have more passion at these tournaments, and the reason, I mean, I love all sports, whether it's football, basketball, baseball, tennis, ping pong, you name it, I'm going to play it. I'll try to compete at it, even if I'm awful. Like golf, I can't even hit the ball, but I'll still try to beat you, right? And anyway, all I'm saying is that the crowd in countries such as Italy and the Germanys and you name the countries, not just here. You can go to rugby tournaments in Australia or wherever it is, and the crowd is a driving energy behind it. That's why I love Davis Cup, and I hate that the format changed because of this. The crowd is so great in Davis Cup and Fed Cup, and they get into it, and they're doing the wave. Whoa! It's like going to a World Cup soccer event in a sense, right? And the crowd's all into it, and that's what makes soccer, even though I don't know much about the goals. I love to go out and kick the ball around. I love the passion behind it, but when I watch soccer, I don't watch it to necessarily follow the game. I like to follow the energy of the crowd. And I really congratulate the fans here in this Rome tournament for enduring 2 days of rain for the most part. Matches backed up. Tickets prices were doubled when Federer entered the mix. And now they're being shoved to 2 matches in a day. And of course, after they slogged through this being the fans, they've slogged through it with them. And they supported their player. And if your favorite player, let's look at Carla, for example, during Nadal's heyday. And me being a staunch Federer fan, when Federer would beat Nadal, she would boo Federer right next to me. Boo, crybaby, Federer's a crybaby. She would knock me all the time. So these are passionate fans, and I give the fans in Rome a standing ovation for this. There's nothing wrong. This is to be expected in these countries where soccer is a big part of everyday life, and Davis Cup is much more important than it is here in the United States. And that's supporting the crowd and giving Fognini, the beautiful beard himself, a reminder that he is loved in his country, and I find that amazing.
Yes. Borna Coric is playing Federer right now. He won the first set 6-2, and they're on serve 2-1.
Can Federer come back from this?
And Federer earlier beat Sousa, which I was happy about.
To be expected there.
I find Sousa a little bit annoying in that match with Tiafoe.
Yeah, to be expected. Do
you think he blamed his coaches for that loss?
Possibly. Who knows? But against the blame game doesn't work here at all. Who were we watching the other day? Sousa hit a ball in the net. I hit a ball in the net. Looks at his box.
It's your fault.
This is your fault because I hit the ball in the net.
You
didn't coach me good enough. Who needs it? You made the error. Deal with it. You've hit enough balls at this level to be able to be consistent. And if not, that's your fault, not your coaches. You're going to miss some shots, and that's just the way it is. Otherwise, we would be perfect, and that nobody is. The only reason why I chose Coric to beat Federer in this Coric. The only reason why I picked Federer to lose to Coric before this tournament even started was because Coric is used to these type of conditions. He's trained on them a lot. Federer hasn't played it in forever. And I kind of figured Federer joining this at the last moment. He wants to get a little bit more clay under his feet before he plays the French for the first time in a while. And I figured Coric would be much more better suited to slug out a match than Federer would be ready to do. And so far, it looks like I was right. However, the match is not over.
Well, I guess Kyrgios did everyone a favor because he talked bad about Verdasco. Well, Verdasco beat number 5 seed Dominic Thiem, and he just beat Pacino in 3 sets.
Real
so
quick.
He's on to what, the quarterfinals?
Yeah, during Kyrgios' interview, Kyrgios advised there was people on tour that he did not like. And his quote was something along the lines of, I despise Fernando Verdasco.
He's arrogant.
He
chauvinistic. Thinks he has a good backhand. He just hits the ball over the net. That's it.
Yeah, he's just like, dude, you hit a ball over the net. You don't say hello to anybody. I get some of that. Yes, he just hits the ball over the net to some. Yes, if someone doesn't say hello to somebody, yes, sometimes people don't like you. I don't like saying hello to everyone because sometimes I don't see them, or I might have something on my mind and not even think about it. So you can't say that for a fact. And maybe he does ignore you, but can you blame?
Maybe he doesn't like
maybe he doesn't like your antics.
Yeah.
Number one, you ever think about looking at yourself in the mirror for that one? Maybe he's like, well, I want to say something to this kid.
What am I deal with this person?
But in the context of the interview, why would you even bring up Fernando Verdasco and that you despise him when someone is asking you about why don't you respect the biggest guys in the game? Verdasco, to me, is a fine player, but just another player. And then as far as Kyrgios' quote about, well, all you do is hit a ball over the net, well, then that's all you do. But to some of us that bleed this game, and that is our life work as coaches, as players, and our passion is what we do in our off time. We're 24/7 tennis, 365 days a year. When you say you just hit a ball over the net, that goes personal to some. It would go personal to me. It's not just a ball, it's a way of life. Yes. Period. Moving forward.
Bashvili plays Nadal later on. Nadal destroyed Chardy 6-0, 6-1, and Bashvili had won his match the previous day against Jerry in 2 sets. So they play in a few hours.
Yeah, by the way, don't forget that Karen Khachanov beat Bautista Agut, and Verdasco will now face off against Khachanov in that round.
He just won.
Okay, he did. So
Yes.
who won that match?
Verdasco.
Verdasco beat Khachanov?
Yes.
Wow.
That's why I was saying earlier that Kyrgios just...
I was
Karma. I was like, Karma, everybody he talked bad about won their match.
So
except him.
So I'm going to actually go, well, you know what, that's a coin toss for me, but I still think I'm going to go with Verdasco here on this surface, being slow.
Beating Nadal or
No, beating Khachanov.
He did
beat him. Did beat him.
That's what I said, yes.
Sorry, brain cloud. I was still going down the second rounds, but he already played his to get into the quarters.
Yes.
Sorry, I missed that one. Anyway, Basilashvili would be more dangerous to Rafael Nadal if it wasn't such a slow clay court. If it was a faster court, based upon what I've seen out of Nadal this clay court season, I would say Basilashvili would have a shot. But I think Nadal will beat Basilashvili relatively easily. 3-4, maybe 2-3. All right. My men's final for this tournament is not intact. I do have Nadal winning it, and I do have Nadal in my final, and I do have Tsitsipas and Nadal in the semis, but both my top half semis are done. Wawrinka and Monfils lost. So I'm still alive here, but I still think I'm going to beat you.
I'm doing much better with the men. I have Federer, Djokovic final, but it doesn't look like Federer's going to win. We'll see.
All right, everyone. So we're going to wrap up the show as usual with just a random quote and or a thought of the day. We'll just see where this goes. We always try to sprinkle in something positive. And again, sometimes our commentary or opinions are harsh to some, as we discussed in the show, and we don't mean it to be that way. But
I'm not the only one that thinks that way, though. I've read many comments where there are many people who think, and I would say about 90% of the people think the way I do.
But nice debate and competition and debate. I think there's debate teams in life, and I don't think you go to a debate contest against Yale and Dartmouth, and these guys are just throwing racial slurs and bombs left and right simply because someone voices their opinion. I think it's a well-organized debate. So please remember that we just tried to do the best that we can and share our honest thoughts with you. And we always read and bring up your thoughts and honest professional opinions on this show. That's what this show is about. But anything negative, it'll just be ignored, deleted, and comments are blocked. You'll be blocked. It'll just be over, and we'll move forward. We get a lot of them, and we only bring up certain ones when it's just so out in left field, like racial stuff, when we're a mixed family in them itself. Anyway, here's the quote, thought of the day. Wherever life plants you, bloom with grace. Wherever life plants you, bloom with grace. This was from an anonymous writer. I searched it, could not find it. I found anonymous. Easier said than done, okay, but absolutely perfectly well said. It's easier said than done to read some of these comments that we get and just pass them off and to not think about them. There's an old saying, an old quote, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. My second youngest son, my fourth oldest of 5 kids, is actually doing a research paper in high school now based upon that statement and researching implications of negative statements today and age with cyberbullying, online bullying, social media, etc. We don't have our kids do that. They don't have.
Don't we just have the oldest daughter going through that as well?
Yeah. So our oldest daughter, who's 9, is in 4th grade.
10 now.
10 looks a little bit like Carla, beautiful and lovely and lively. And she is at the brunt end of a lot of discriminatory stuff at school every day in 4th grade. And we had to entertain that phone call today from a principal about a boy that was calling her some very, very, very awful things. And he unfortunately was suspended from school, not on our behalf. We just said they're kids, and she's used to that. So words can hurt you. They really can hurt you. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words may never hurt me. I think needs to be appended to sticks and stones may break my bones, and words do sometimes hurt me. So if we can look at maybe Nick Kyrgios and some of his words and F-bombs that he shoots to the crowd, surely the crowd is feeding him into it and doing that on their so in other words, he's not totally innocent. There's someone in the crowd being a buffoon as well. But let's just say one of those two parties can find a pinch of grace. Jerry Garcia from the Grateful Dead used to say, try to find a pinch of grace and things get better. Cooler heads tend to prevail. It's easier said than done to do so when someone is chastising you with hurtful, potentially discriminatory words, but if you can find a pinch of grace and ignore it and move forward, things will be better. Life is very difficult, by the way, especially today, especially on the youth. Youth are just pulverized with ads and pulverized with language and pulverized with ideologies and isms and everything else. And they read it and they think it's true right off the bat. And they come home from school thinking they're Albert Einstein in this field. Ultimately, they just read someone's opinion. And most of these opinions are just pure junk. On the world stage in 2019, and again, I'll revert to Kyrgios because we have spoken about this at length today and some of the comments that we receive. In a world stage or on this channel where there's people all over the globe that watch the channel, why would we allow negative into a tennis family? What good does it do? I feel like I've talked about Kyrgios too much, but I find that Kyrgios is a fine young man. I mean that. And I find that he's a really great talent, and I find that he is a little bit lost maybe in his upbringing. I don't think he needs a tennis coach. I think that he needs some attention.
He's a mentor.
A mentor, someone off the court that understands where he's coming from, that understands maybe what he's gone through as a young man and so forth. And nobody, I can repeat, nobody can vouch for that except himself. And I wish the best for Nick Kyrgios. I hope that he can find a pinch of grace that will level his mind out so we can see him win those major tournaments that he is very capable of winning.
He's definitely capable.
Nick Kyrgios, our message to you, wherever life may plant you from this point forward, bloom with grace. Next time you're on the world stage, don't knock Djokovic, don't knock Nadal and say, why would I respect them? You can think that way in your head, but when the microphone is on you on the world stage, don't throw your chair, don't smash your racket, don't go off on Verdasco that had no reason even being in the discussion in the first one. He just pulled that one out of his hip, and it didn't go over too well. But I still have hope in Kyrgios. Find a pinch of grace, be a leader of men and be a leader of women and be positive. I'm not saying you're not off the court. I know he's a different person off the court, but do it on the court as well. Things will change. Anyway, that's it, everyone. See you soon. Roland Garros and the French Open start soon, and we will have a prize giveaway. I think I'm going to do this Wilson Byrne 100S as the major prize, strung up with some YTEX strings. My son used this for a year. It's got some scratches on it. No dings, no scratches. Wilson Byrne Countervail 100S, very nice stick. And I think I will do a prize for this with second place prizes being some YTEX strings or apparel. Thank you, by the way, for the topic Ami in New Zealand. Thank you very much to the coaches from Hastings College, and thank you to YTEX Strings, Ivor Savage. Click like below, subscribe below. Please share our videos. Much love to everyone, and as Carla always says,
Adios.